11 towns for the price of one. And welcome back to Third Rate Content. Yes, today we're going to be taking in 11 towns all on one video. But it isn't quite going to be like that because we are at Ryton XI Towns in North Shropshire. And we're going to be having a really good walk around and investigate. Look at the church. There's a castle here as well. We'll be taking in all that on this glorious May the 20th here with the beautiful blue sky and lush verdant meadows on all sides. So buckle up and I'll see you out here. Yeah, I'm not sure if this fine structure, sandstone structure with a nice witch's hat roof, was at some point a toll house. It looks like it, but we'll have to seek confirmation on that. Just looking off the bridge here. Look at the beautiful meadows.
You're not watching a live stream, that's a river.
There's grass in the field and water in the stream.
Which isn't a stream at all, it's a river. It's the River Perry. Yeah, it's a very old bridge spanning the River Perry. River Perry actually rises not far from here at Oswestry, and it's a tributary of the River Severn, and it flows into that just a few miles south east from here. So it would seem it's quite a short river.
Yeah, this building has got signs of very old stonework in it, and of course later brick remodelling. Ryton XI Towns seems to be the only English name or place name where Roman numerals are featured. It seems that this is quite a modern addition to the name, because the early forms of it are simply Ryton, Ryton or Ryton. And this is very much the oldest part of the village. Yeah, early on in the walk, quite a lot of sandstone buildings. You see that a lot in Shropshire, but I think we're going to see the actual reason for this in Ryton XI Towns a little bit further on in the walk. Yeah, new build under construction here in Ryton XI Towns. Yeah, it looked like it'll be pretty nice, that, with an absolutely beautiful view out the back. Brownhill House is a very well-known bed and breakfast, and it has featured on TV, especially the gardens. Waymarker, an old one, or the sandstone megalith. I don't think so, but you know, I'm putting the question out there. Just here in the garden of and just next to the megalith, we've got a sort of cairn. But I don't think it's a mega old one, but it's very interesting. View here, it's partially obscured by the trees, but it just goes on for quite a long way, miles in fact, so you would get a better view further up the road. Yeah, I can see why this one is called Glenview, because it just looks right over the view we were just talking about, which is the Glen. The aforementioned Glen. Every time I think of a Glen, though, I think of Robin Hood riding through the Glen. He might even get a mention indirectly, Robin Hood, later on in today's episode. We'll see. Yeah, again, signs of a much older structure predating the one that is sitting on top here, just opposite Glenview. Yeah, so this sandstone cliff is known as the Brownhill. And I assume this is where some of the sandstone came from for some of the properties here in Ryton XI Towns. But what we're going to have a look at now is this completely unique for Shropshire war memorial. Yeah, and the first time I saw this memorial was on another YouTuber's video a year ago or so, Travelling Tim D. So thank you for the heads up on that, Tim. Nice to see you doing so well lately, and let's have a look at it, because it's carved into the sandstone, and it's like an arch with seats in it, so we're going to have a closer look now. Yeah, look at that, you can see the stroke marks of when this cave stroke war memorial was made. It was first envisaged, it's a very busy road here, you've got to be really careful. It's first envisaged by the architect Stanley Vaughan after a visit to Ryton, and it was created by local father and son stonemasons Warwick and Len Edwards. The benches within the arch, there's two, one, two, and the cross are all carved out of the rock. Obviously this hasn't been placed, it is actually carved. The memorial was unveiled in 1920, 2 years after the end of World War I. You can see the brave people who gave the ultimate sacrifice. But World War I and II are memorialised here. But Alfred Rogers, let's see if we can find his name. There. He was added in 2007 after he had been omitted initially. I don't know if they just didn't have the records or whatever, but this is a real landmark. It's worth coming to Ryton XI Towns for on its own. You've really got to watch it here because it's on a very busy main road. Traffic coming, there isn't at the moment, but it's traffic always coming down here. Yeah, so I wouldn't want to be getting added to the memorial after visiting it, because if you ever do come here, it is a busy road, and do be careful. Okay, thank you. Yeah, there's sandstone everywhere in Ryton XI Towns. It's understandable, what with the brown hill just over there.
Yeah, with the River Perry just below us, you can see why they sited the castle along here.
It's old. Looks quite abandoned down there though. I'd like to see actually what is down there, what has been sold, whether it's just a plot of land or there's something else down there. If anybody knows, tell us in the comments, please. Yeah, red sandstone cottage set right back into the red sandstone. Yeah, and here you can actually see where the brown hill or the red sandstone hill has been carved out so that this property, or the one preceding it even, could be built. Because sandstone is quite soft, although I wouldn't want to carve it out with my hands. Yeah, the smell of honeysuckle, or is it hawthorn? To me, it really does make the late spring season. It's just so evocative. Must get my plant names and tree names down. I need to do more studying on that, because it doesn't sound very good when you're like doing a video and you don't even know the plants and trees of your own country. Sorry, I'm gonna get better. Although I don't think this sandstone wall was used as a defensive position, or as a defensive wall. Where we're just sort of heading up to, I don't know if you can see the, you can't see the church now, but where we're heading up to was the site of Ryton Castle, which was a real Welsh marcher lord castle, and very important in the days of the Welsh marcher lords. In
A couple of hundred years after the Norman conquest.
wow, a real rustic old barn. I think the only thing holding it up is, yeah, you got it, the rustic. Boom, boom. Yeah, this, well, that this was some sort of farm building or light industry, but you definitely, I think, had deliveries here at some points in the past. So this would have been the Admiral Benbow Inn. And there is the great Admiral himself. It's nice to see they've left the pub sign up, because it is quite a historic public house stroke inn. And there is at least one other Admiral Benbow pub that I know of, and that's in Shrewsbury. Something's on fire, or a cat stuck in a tree, I'm not sure which. Yeah, Admiral Benbow was a Royal Navy captain, admiral, in 1600s, very early 1700s, and he did a lot of good work freeing slaves, white slaves, from the Algerian pirates, who were really wicked, nasty lot, who used to come to lots of northern European countries and Mediterranean, and basically steal whole families out of their beds and sell them into slavery. Awful, wicked time, but the Royal Navy did put paid to that, and and did stop the Algerian pirates. And Admiral Benbow, what a hero, and long may we remember him. Just next to the Admiral Benbow pub, this quaint old sandstone barn stroke dwelling. Again, you really do see on the sides sandstone bases and probably footings, and then brick on the top as building techniques evolved. And you've got these Georgian, very classically Georgian this row, but I wonder, is everything as it seems? Yeah, because at the top you've got all this timber framing, so it does ask the question, are these frontages?
Very much like in lots of other places.
Well, I don't know 100% the answer, but it's a speculation, third-rate speculation. Yeah, because they don't quite seem to be as straight and as level as you'd expect from a truly Georgian development. And as I said, this is the main drag of Ryton XI Towns, and here is the sort of business district. You've got Cafe 11, which I might use in a moment. Then next to it, you've got Garage, which at one point was called J.J. Allen. It's actually J.L. Allen, but it's not G.G. Allen, the punk singer from America. If you haven't heard of him, don't check him out. Although he did have some good tunes, but I really wouldn't check him out too much. Yeah, you've got the Ryton XI Towns village stores, though it doesn't, yeah, it's gone. It's not a stores anymore. Yeah, it's for sale. Not sure what it was previously. Yeah, and the Talbot Inn, the remaining public house of Ryton XI Towns, and it's obviously definitely still functional. Whee! Great news. Yeah, I'm not sure of its exact age, the Talbot Inn, but it does look like not Elizabethan, it looks later, like possibly Jacobean, because it's got that much finer, sort of more delicate timber framing. But I'm not an expert, and if anybody knows, tell me in the comments, but that's my speculation. Yeah, that is a grand building. I like the fan. So, Ryton XI Towns. I was going to actually memorise these and say them on a later part of the video, but they're all they've been written out for us. So I'll explain to you where Ryton XI Towns got its name. Ryton is split into two. The ton indicates a farmstead, and the rye indicates rye was being grown here. It's quite simple when you when you read it in a book. But so Ryton, where did the 11 towns come from? Well, it was from the 11 townships that were based around Ryton, and Ryton was the centre of. Because and I was going to memorise these and read them out to you and make myself look smart, but they're kindly written down for us here, so let's just go through them. Yeah, so you've got obviously Ryton, Coton, Shropshire, Sherlock, Erdiston, Whiteley, Westfelton, Horton, Rednall, Sutton and Tedsmore. And I think only 2 of those remain to this day. But the monument stands on the former site of the lockup, which would have been like the little jail, single cell jail of the manors. So if you got in trouble, you could end up locked up here. Clink clink.
Sherlock and Whiteley are the 2 remaining parishes.
That is a picture perfect, quaint country cottage. Wow, that is timber frames splendour. And it is the Smithy house. So that would have been the real heart of any village, especially here in Ryton XI Towns, so close, you know, in the middle of the 11 manors of Ryton. It'd have been getting loads of use, shoeing shire horses, the lords of the manors horses, and just loads of stuff. So that place would have passed down generations of ironworking skills. Quite amazing, really.
It would have also been a hub of gossip. England in spring is so beautiful. Just looking back towards the Talbot. I mean, there is more of Ryton XI Towns than what we investigated on today's video, but we haven't covered it. There's more. We could come back here and do another video, what with the walks around the town and the cliff.
Yeah, so right behind me here at Cliff House, one of Ryton XI Towns' most notable residents resided for a very short time. Yeah, this grand Georgian, I would say, pile. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
This image is from Wiki Commons.
Made his home for 4 months as an unpaid assistant to the doctor of Ryton XI Towns. So basically an intern in today's language.
Or at the very least, my
the doctor who, the good doctor who lived here and practiced here was one Dr. Elliot. And the author the future author of Sherlock Holmes.
And just in case anyone doesn't know who Sherlock Holmes is, here's a picture. Though I don't believe the great author had started writing while he was living in Ryton. LOL.
And other works called Ryton his home, like I said, for a brief time. Yeah, and one of the witticisms he did make about Ryton XI Towns was Ryton XI Towns. Not enough to make 11 towns, and not even enough make one town, and that was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's take on Ryton XI Towns. Another Ryton XI Towns resident, notable one, was someone who has been mentioned on Third Rate Content before, Corbett Kynaston, who was the Jacobite rebel and Tory MP. I think we mentioned him when we were talking about the parade some while back, but he lived round here, not right in Ryton XI Towns though, I think in a hall, Chevlock, just outside of the village. Yeah, just on our way back up to the church now. Thought we'd just call in here at Cafe 11, just have a coffee. Very good. Very good if I don't spill it everywhere. But yeah, we'll be heading back up to the church to finish the video in a moment. Yeah, just opposite that row of Georgian 3-storey houses, you've got this lovely, what I would say, Georgian sort of
villa kind of house.
It's just set back from the road. It's pretty beautiful actually, lovely. It's known as Grove Court. Have a fair few red brick, sort of Victorian looking structures. Yeah, old and new. And you've got some really nice quaint little lanes and sort of hidden houses. Yeah, I would like to tell you some third-rate anecdotes about Ryton XI Towns, but I haven't got any because I have never set foot in Ryton XI Towns until today. I think I've only driven through it 2 or 3 times possibly when I was going to Manchester Airport, I think. So yeah, I don't know a lot about Ryton XI Towns, and we're learning together once again today. Yeah. So this red brick building was, or is, the Ryton XI Towns Parish Hall. Well, it was in 1960 anyway. I'm not sure what it is now. Hopefully it does what it says on the tin. Or the road sign. Come back here in autumn and this lane should be resplendent with gooseberries. Maybe we'll come back and have a look. Or maybe not, we might not have time. Yeah, and here in the churchyard of Ryton Church is the ruins of a castle, and there isn't a lot of it left, but let's find out what this castle was all about. Yeah, so lying in what really is the heart of the Welsh Marches, Ryton Castle was the seat of power of a real marcher lord, as opposed to Lawrence of Ludlow, who didn't ever profess to be a marcher lord, but the reason he kept the construction of his fortified manor house sort of low key was to not step on the toes of the martial lords. Because this was the antithesis of a fortified manor house. This was the real deal. This was a border castle to protect the very fringes of England from Welsh raiders. Because Ryton Castle was first built in 1148, this is the height of the Normans trying to establish control over Wales, and obviously these castles were great staging posts and and places where they could rally and gather troops and defend the English border.
Of course, the Normans were as hated in England as in Wales. I suppose that's where the folklore of Robin Hood would have evolved from, those times. And the Welsh hated the Normans. What were the true Britons before the Anglo-Saxon invasion? They hated the Normans, the English hated the Normans, everybody hated the Normans except the Normans.
Despite being built in 1148, 62 years later, Ryton Castle was destroyed in 1202. They're destroyed by the Welsh. But the castle was rebuilt in 1313, but was destroyed again by Owen Glendower during his rising against England, and the rising began in 1400. So that's what's left of the ruins now. Owen Glendower left it like this. And for once, it wasn't the English Civil War that destroyed a historic medieval castle. It was an actual medieval Welsh lord who did it. This is an artist's rendition of what would have been here in all its glory in its heyday. A square stone keep, 3-storied.
And it does bear more than a passing resemblance to the church, and that's not surprising because the stones were used from the keep in the church.
Yeah, a very medieval Welsh lord. So this castle was really on the business end of the March's life,
which was a war-torn state of affairs at times.
And this, what we're seeing now, is the remains of the keep. It's a pretty small keep, but formidable nevertheless, and something that needed taking out by the Welsh. But when I think of a Welsh marcher lord, and this is just me probably, I think of Owen of Clun, an extremely fictional marcher lord who featured in season 3 of Robin of Sherwood. He was the Lord of Clun. Of course, we haven't covered Clun. That's a bit of a tongue twister on third-rate content yet. I really would like to, but that was a marcher castle, and so is this one. And I always think of Owen of Clun when I've been researching this. I'll put a picture of him in for you.
Yeah, he was a real baddie. He kidnapped Maid Marian, the beautiful Judy Trott, and carried her off to Clun Castle. Getting it clear, Maid Marian was no wimp, he ambushed her.
But yeah, but it just shows you how important these marcher lords were, because they had their own laws and they had complete control over their areas, which is pretty unique in England at that time.
I think that hill could be the Breeden. Looks nice, whatever it is.
Plenty, and I mean plenty of yew trees in this churchyard. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's lucky 7. Yeah, and here in the yew tree grove, it all of a sudden feels a lot colder and just a little bit different atmosphere. I don't know what it is, or if it's just me imagining it. It could be. You decide and tell me in the comments. the cement or concrete that was used in castle construction. It just gets harder over time. So this stuff is as hard as it gets right now. Wow, this is a really old gravestone. The liching all over it, just an R visible. I can't see any sign of a number. But remember, some liching has been here hundreds and hundreds of years. You know, it could have been here not long after the stone was laid, because it just survives forever. Of course, a lot of the stone from the castle was actually used in the construction of the church here. Is it going to be open today? Are we in luck? Unfortunately not. Oh well. You can't win them all. (1771). Interesting. These daffodils are well and truly gone. But just last week we were in mid Wales and the daffodils were in full bloom. So it just shows quite a difference in lifespan. Yeah, just looking at this, I was hoping to find the church's name, but it is not on any of this placard. So I still don't know the name. I'll try and look it up and voice a bit over. I can't help but think that in this very churchyard and this very church in both 1348 and 1665, at this very time in May, the Black Death would have been visiting this very parish just by that lovely lich gate. Yeah, but we're just by the lich gate here. And apparently, according to that placard I just read, I don't know if you saw it, this yew tree is the oldest one in the churchyard. This is the 8th I've counted. There could be more. But this one is, according to that board, 1,700 years old. Quite amazing. It really is. And as you can see, it goes all underground. It's, you know, it just keeps going. It's amazing. Because this is the oldest yew tree that I have ever knowingly encountered. So we've all encountered it together now. Brilliant. The Church on the Cliff is the name of the church here. Just looked on Google Earth. Yeah, it's a fairly unusual name. So that's it for today's third-rate content. Our visit to Ryton XI Towns. It's been a really lovely afternoon spent here. Really interesting. The time has just flown by, and but it's all documented now, except for the interior of the church. You know what? When I first got here, the door was open, but I thought I'll do the castle first and come back and do the church. And then I came back and it was shut. So you know, you live and you learn. But I'm not going to let that mar today's experience. It's been fantastic. So thank you for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed, but if you're still here now, you may well have enjoyed somewhat. But before you go, maybe think about leaving a like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, but thank you if you have, and thank you, thanking in advance if you do. Please hit the notification bell if you want to stay updated on third-rate content, and please leave a comment. I read them all and I reply where applicable. So if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Bye bye.